Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's training on Zoho Assist, focusing on unattended access. Before I could start the training, please confirm if you all could see the screen and hear my voice. And you can do your confirmation in the Q&A session we have. Thank you all for the response. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rohini, and I'll be the trainer for today's webinar, and I'm expertise in both remote support and unattended access. I have segmented the training into few topics, starting with what unattended access is about, where I'll explain the requirements of unattended access and how the connection is being established and how you can configure a device for unattended access. Followed by, I will discuss few scenarios which are experienced by the technicians while conducting unattended session. And moving to the settings, I will introduce the settings and customization available for both the users as well as the technicians who's accessing the account. Lastly, I'll be addressing the most common question which is raised in the Q&A panel, and I also got an expert team with me who is ready to answer all your questions. So feel free to write down your questions anytime during the training session. Understanding unattended access. Let us understand the need for unattended access. Imagine a scenario where being an IT administrator who manages computers and servers of the company where they may need to access those machines in unattended mode when even there is no one person to accept and join the session. So in such cases, they can configure those devices for unattended access so that anytime they needed to take control, they can directly jump onto the machine and then access and control it without relying on someone else to join the session. And here Zoho Assist unattended access comes into play. So with unattended access, you will be able to configure any device across the globe and you can access it via Zoho Assist. So we will see the architecture behind how the unattended access would work. So here you can find that to set up the device for unattended access, as a technician, you have to log into the Zoho Assist account, which is assist.zoho.com, and you can gather the unattended link and you can share it to the remote user. So imagine that you have the end user who can do the configuration for you. So you can share the link to the end user so that they can download the unattended agent and have the device configured for unattended access. So once it's done, to connect to the device, you can log into the Zoho Assist portal, which is assist.zoho.com. So you can click on the connect button, which is far right to the device that you intend to take control. So as soon as you click on the connect button, the connection will get established in the Zoho cloud server. And here the data transmission takes place through 256 AES bit encryption. So this ensures that the connection between the technician as well as the remote computer is highly secure. So these are the few requirements for both the technician and the customer to access and configure the device for unattended access. So as a technician, you can start a session from Windows, Mac, Linux, and you also be able to start a session from Linux machine and mobile devices. On the other end, you'll be able to configure Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android devices for unattended access. So configuration methods. So you got an idea that in order to access the device for unattended access, we need to install the agent on that target machine. So on this installation of agent can be carried out in various methods. So starting with download installer, and we have deployment link, and lastly we have bulk deployment methods. So firstly, we'll start with a download installer. So this is one of the manual installation method where you'll be manually installing the agent on the remote machine to have it configured for unattended access. Now let me show you where you can make use of this method and you can deploy the agent within this Zoho Assist console. So moving to the portal, yes, this is the homepage of the Zoho Assist account, assist.zoho.com. To set up a new device for unattended access, you can click on the unattended access tab and deployment and manage devices. And under manage devices, you can find a plus icon where you can see various methods to deploy an agent for unattended access. So here you can find a download, install a link. So based on the operating system, so imagine that you have the device in front of you that needs to be configured for unattended access. So you can simply log into the Zoho Assist account and you can choose a respective OS, and then you can download the agent on that particular machine. So apart from the download install method, so we have another method which is a deployment link. So say that you don't have the device in front of you, but someone else can do the configuration for you. So in such cases, you can share the deployment link to the end user so that they could use the link and have the device configured for unattended access. So now we will see how you can configure the device using the deployment link method that we have. So let's go back to the portal, and here you can find a deployment link. So you can copy and share the link to the end user, or you can also be able to share the link to the end user via email. So once this email contains the download link, the install link for the unattended access, so that the end user can make use of it to have the device configured. So let me show you how does it works. So I just copied the link and pasted in a new tab. So here you can find the technician details who shared the deployment link, and this link is specific to the account. So which means that the devices that you configure using this particular link will be registered in your account for unattended access. So based on your preference, you can choose the EXE or the MSI installer type, and you can download the agent on the corresponding machine that needed to be accessed for unattended. So these are the two direct installation methods that we have in Zoho Assist. So imagine that you have 100 plus devices in your company that needed to be accessed in unattended mode. So we're manually installing the agent on each and every devices. It's going to be a time consuming. So for that, we have few bulk deployment methods where you will be silently installing the agent on each and every devices that is being a part of a domain or a work group. So we will see the methods that we have under the bulk deployment. So starting with distributor, as the name says, you will be distributing the agent. You'll be distributing the agent to all the devices that is a part of the particular domain or Active Directory. So now we will see how the distributor works in the Zoho Assist. So here you can find a distributor method. And to set up a new device for a distributor, so at first you will be choosing any particular device from your domain or Active Directory as a distributor mission, where you'll be manually installing the agent. You can make use of the link and manually install the agent on that particular distributor mission. So after that, you can proceed with setting up the domain details. So we'll be choosing the distributor name and the domain details, and you can provide the admin password credentials to proceed with that. So after entering all this information, you can find all the computers that is a part of the domain. So you can choose the computers that needed to be accessed for unattended, and then you can push the configuration. So this is how you can install the agent. You can bulk deploy the multiple devices for unattended access using the distributor method that we have. So moving to the next method, which is a group policy object. So most of the companies will be using a Windows group policy to install a program or update an antivirus. So with the help of the GPO, you will be able to install a bulk amount of devices for unattended access. Now we will see how it works in real time. So here you can find a group policy object, and we have provided a startup script, and this script can be downloaded and extracted. So afterwards, after after extracting the script, and this script going to have the necessary components that needed for the configuration. So this script contains the ISS file, BAT file, and the exe file for the silent installation. So after extracting the script, you can create a policy and then you can push the agent. So when you apply the policy on the devices, so that all the devices that is a part of the policy will be configured for unattended access. So similarly, we have another method, which is native tool. So this is our own tool which is designed by Zoho for the bulk deployment, and here the bulk deployment is carried out in the bulk deployment manager. So you can let's say that you're managing devices in a work group or a domain, so you can make use of this method. So we have provided a package to deploy the agent. So you'll be downloading the package in your machine, and afterwards you can add the domain or the workgroup details. And after entering the workgroup details, all the devices that is a part of under that particular workgroup will be listed. So you can choose the devices and then you can push the agent to have it configured for unattended access. So next we have another method is there are a few methods which is provided by Microsoft, which is Intune, SCCM, and Azure. So starting with Intune, here we have provided a package which you can extract it on the machine, and then you can have it configured for unattended access. So here we will see how the Intune method works. So you can download the script. So just like group policy, you can download the script and then you can create a policy in Intune, and then you can push the configuration for unattended access. So then we got SCCM, which is a System Center Configuration Manager. So this method you can especially use, you can utilize it, especially if your organization is based on the. And then we got an Azure, which is again by Microsoft. So under Azure, so we got two methods. One would be a storage account. Yes, we have provided a startup script for both storage account as well as the automation account. So you can read out the instruction. We have provided a clear instructions about the installation process, and you can make use of it for configuring the unattended access. So these are the few deployment methods that we have provided in Zoho Assist to deploy the agent for unattended access. So moving back to the slides. So let us see Zoho Assist in action. So now we will see how the connection works in real time. So here you can find when you click on the unattended access tab. So after configuring the devices for unattended access, you can find all the devices under here. And to connect to the device, you can click on the connect button, which is far right to the device that you needed to take control. So in the home screen itself, you can find the device name and the IP address and the operating system of that particular remote machine, and list of the active users who's currently accessing that particular mission. So here you can find that I have connected to the mission which has multiple monitor attached. So based on your preference, you can choose, you can expand any one of the monitor which you needed to take control. So once you connected to the mission, you can find a blue bar which is at the left. So here you can find the majority of the operations which the technician could perform in the unattended session. So starting with view, so as soon as the technician connected to the remote machine, they can choose their viewing preference. So they can choose the actual size which replicates the actual size of the remote machine. So in case if the technician wish to switch to full screen view, they can switch to full screen view from here. So these are the two viewing preference that we have in the session, which you can make use of it, which you can access it based on your preference. So then we have a show remote cursor. So say that you have someone in the another session at the remote user. You have the remote user available at the another session, and you have provided instructions about what needs to be done, or you are guiding your customer for an installation process. So if you wanted to see where your end user is moving the cursor, you can enable the remote cursor of the end user. So in case if you wish to hide the remote cursor, you can hide it from here. Then we got a color quality, so which you can set up from 25 to 100, or you can set it as automatic. So the color quality will be adjusted based on the bandwidth. So if in case the applications which is running in the remote machine might consuming a lot of bandwidth, which might affect the session performance, right? So in such cases, you can reduce the color quality to 25%, and this will enhance the session performance. So then we have screen resolution. So you can set it as actual screen resolution, which is 1920 dot into 1080, or if the remote machine resolution is higher or lower than your resolution, you can adjust the resolution according to your preference. So next we have another option, which is session. So under session, you can find invite technician option. So let's say that being a level 1 technician, you need assistance from a senior technician to resolve a particular issue which is reported by the end user. In such cases, you can make use of the internal or the external invitation option. You can make use of this invite technician option to invite multiple users to the same unattended session. So here we have two methods, which is internal and external. So you can make use of the internal method if you're inviting a person, if you're inviting a technician who's a part of your Zoho Assist license. And you can make use of the external if you're inviting a user who's not a part of your organization for unattended access. So you just have to enter the email address of the person that who you wanted to join the session, and you can send the invite. So by this way, multiple users can collaborate in the same session and resolve the issue that is reported by your customer. So then we have a remote audio feature. So this can be enabled, especially if you're troubleshooting any issues related to audio, or if you wish to play an audio driver in the remote machine, you can enable it. So down below, we got two key combinations, which is Control Alt Delete and Alt plus Tab. So right now, the session that I have started is in a web browser. So due to the certain browser level restrictions, you'll not be able to perform key combinations from your technician machines to replicate it on the remote machine. So for that, we have this key combinations options given in our toolbar. So in case if you wish to lock the screen or switch the user or sign out or change a password or visiting the task manager, so all these actions can be accessed in a single click. So moving to the next option, yes, we have disable input devices and blanketing screen. So these are the few security features that I would say, because imagine that you are accessing a device in an unattended mode, and you'll not be knowing if someone is passing around the device could see what you're actually accessing. In case if you don't want the end user or someone else who could pass the screen to see what you're accessing, or if you don't want any intervention from the end user, you can blanken the screen. So blankening the screen will blanken the remote user screen. And apart from this, we have disabling input devices option. So when you disable the input devices, this will be revoke the keyboard and mouse control of the end user. So this is two security options that you can perform in the unattended session, especially if you're accessing any sensitive information. So then we have send clipboard keystroke. So you can make use of this command, especially if you're accessing an unattended device and you wanted to unlock the machine. So you can make use of this command to copy a password from your machine and paste it on the remote machine. So then next we got a screenshot. So in case if you wish to take a screenshot during the session, you can take a screenshot of the particular screen and you can save it to the downloads, or you can sync it with your cloud. So Next, we have net short keys. Just like Control Alt Delete, we have provided other short keys, which is Control Alt and Windows. So with the help of the short keys, you will be able to access majority of the features in a single click. So then we have network statistics. So you can, when you click on the network statistics, you can check out the network status of both the technician machine as well as the remote machine. So in case if there is a lag or delay in the session, you can check out the network statistic to check if it is because of any network issues on your machine or the end user machine. So down below, we have tools. So under tools, we have introduced a script execution option where the technician, as a technician, you will be able to execute a script from your machine directly on the remote machine. So you just have to click on the script execution, and this will open the files in your folder. So you can choose the script and then you can run it on the remote machine. So then we got few power operations which you can perform in the unattended sessions. And starting with lock screen, and we got log off. You can log off the session and you can reboot in safe mode and shut down. So if you reboot the machine, you don't have to start another session. So once the reboot process is completed, the session will get reconnected so that you can keep working in the remote machine without any intervention. So then we got a quick launch for you. So all these operations can be accessed starting with add or remove program. So in case if you wish to add a program, you can just click on the add or remove program. This will open up the control panel on the remote machine. So likewise, you will be able to access all these operations. You can access it in a single click. So next to quick launch, we have administrative task. So being an IT admin, if you who always works on the group policy or scheduling a task, you can make use of this single click options to access them easily. So then we got a file transfer. Let's say that you are working with the end user and you wanted a log file from the end user machine to further debug the issue that is reported by the end user. So in such cases, you can make use of the file transfer feature that we have given. So you can just have to click on the here you can find two viewers in the file transfer. So you can make use of the native client if you're transferring enough folders, or simply if you're transferring any files, you can make use of the web client option. So when you click on the file transfer, you can find two options: send as well as the receive files. So as a technician, you'll be able to send as well as receive files from the remote machine. So to receive a file, you just have to click on the receive file and it will open the files and folders in the remote machine. You can choose a file and then you can send it to your machine. So this is how you can make use of the file transfer feature in the unattended session. So then we have chat option, which you can initiate a chat with the end user in the unattended session. So apart from the chat, we have voice chat as well as video chat. So which you can make use of it if the end user is available, and you can make use of these options to interact with them easily on the unattended session. So lastly, we have a diagnostic tool. So all the operations that is available under the diagnostic tool can be accessed in a backend or in an offline mode. So let's say that you have connected to the employee of your company while they are during the business hours, and you wanted to check out the printers that is available in the machine, but without disturbing the end user. So you can just simply connect to the device and then you can open up the diagnostic tool and you can open the printers. So all the operations that you access here will not be shown to the end user. So this is what the diagnostic feature is all about. And so these are the options that the technician will have in the unattended session at the left toolbar. And here you can find at the right, the technician can chat with the end user. And if the end user has multiple monitors connected, they can switch between the monitors, or they can also view both the monitors simultaneously. They can choose the vertical view or horizontal view. So then we have session notes. So as a technician, in case if you take multiple sessions in a day, you will not remember what you did on each and every session. So you can take a short note of what you did on each sessions, and this will be saved under the report so that you can access it later. So say that I have connected to this machine to install an antivirus, so you can just take a note of it so that this will be saved and you can access it later. So then we have session details. All this, the session details as well as the device details can be accessed under the option that we have given. So you can find the device name, operating system, as well as the last rebooted time of the remote machine. So these are the options given to the technician, so which you can make use of it in the unattended session. So this is a console which is provided for the end user, for the customer. So this is what they could see. So the customer can check out the participants who is currently accessing the machine, and they can use the chat icon to chat with the technician and the annotation, and these options can be used by both the technician as well as the customer. So let's say that the customer wants to point out something to the technician, so they can make use of this annotations and they can mark it and to get it conveyed to the technician. So this can be used by technician as well. And then we have file transfer. So as a customer, the customer will be able to send the file to the technician in the unattended session. So this is how both the technician and the customer can collaborate easily in the unattended session. So here, to end the particular session, as a technician, you can click on the exit mark and you can click on the end of button. So this is the ideal way one, as the technician, can end the particular session. So in case if you forget to add the session notes, you can add it at the end of the session, and you also be able to, as a technician, you also be able to download the chart transcript. So moving back to the slides that we have, scenarios. So I did mention that we'll be discussing few scenarios in this training. So scenario number one, can I wake a remote computer that is turned off? Yes. With the help of Zoho Assist, we have a feature called Wake on LAN. With help of the feature, you'll be able to turn on a remote machine. So imagine a scenario where you have 10 devices that is configured for unattended access, or all are connected with the same internet. And among the 10 devices, one device is showing offline. And with the help of the Wake on LAN feature, you'll be able to power on the machine, which is currently in off. So when you click on the power on machine, when you click on the power on option, any of the device that is currently mode will be sending a magic packet to wake up the machine that is currently off. And this magic packet contains a wake up command to turn on the machine. So this is how the Wake on LAN feature works. Now let me show you how you can enable the Wake on LAN feature within the Zoho Assist account. So you can go to the settings. Under settings, we have Wake on LAN under the unattended access column. And here you can find and check mark, you can enable it. So once you enable it, you'll be able to turn on the devices. And also there are a few checklist or prerequisites to configure the Wake on LAN, which starting with at least one computer with the unattended agent installed should be online in the same network. And also it's mandatory that the remote computer connected to the power source as well as the LAN connection. And apart from this, it's necessary the deep sleep mode should be disabled on the remote machine. So these are the few prerequisites for the Wake on LAN configuration with Zoho Assist. So moving to the scenario number 2. And how do I get a concern of the customer before connecting to the unattended computer? So imagine that you have configured the employees of your company devices for unattended access. So in case, as an administrator, in case if you wish to set up a concern before your technicians accessing the end user machine, so especially during the business hours. So for that, we have the session confirmation prompt that can be enabled. So Now I'll show you where you can enable the session confirmation. So you can go to the settings and under unattended access, you can find the session confirmation. So once the session confirmation is enabled, the end user will, when the technician connected to the machine, the end user will see a prompt message to allow or deny the control request. So only when the end user has allowed the control request, your technicians will be able to access or control the remote machine. So in case if you wish to add an exclusion, especially if you have configured server machines for unattended access where there'll be no one present to allow the connection, so you can add those devices that is not needed for session confirmation under the exclusion option that we have. So this is how the session confirmation works, and you also be able to customize your confirmation message from here. So moving to the next scenario, scenario number 3, how do I record unattended access sessions for auditing and training purposes? Yes, you will be able to record the unattended sessions, and once the recording is enabled under the settings, all the sessions will get recorded automatically. So I will show you where you can enable the recording within the console. So you can go to the settings. So under settings that we have session recording under the general. So based on the modules, you can enable the recording feature based on your preference, or you can enable a recording for remote support or screen sharing or unattended session. And you also be able to choose the recording quality from 25% to 100. And in case if the storage is full, you can wish to delete the older recordings, or you can stop recording the newer session. So this is how you can enable the recording. So all the session recordings, all the recorded sessions, you can find it under the reports option that we have. So scenario number 4, can I print a document from the remote computer onto my local printer? Yes, with the help of a remote printing feature that we have, you'll be able to print a document from the remote machine to the local printer that is configured in your machine. So I'll show you how you can enable the remote printing option. So you can go to the settings, and under settings, we have preferences. So before that, in order to initiate the remote printing, you need to switch. You need to start the session in a native viewer. So I will explain the two viewers that we have in Zoho Assist. So under Technician Console, you can find Windows native client as well as web client. So right now it is enabled as web client, which means the sessions will get started in a browser. So if you switch to native client, unlike before, the session will not get started in a browser. So as a technician, when you start the session, you need to you have to download the executable file, and which is an application based viewer, and all the sessions will get started in the application viewer. So in that option, you will be able to find the remote printing, so which you can make use, which you can choose the printer, and then you can have the printer, have the document printer to the your local printer. So this is how the remote printing works with Zoho Assist. And moving to the next option, scenario number 5. So can I configure the proxy for the unattended computers to be installed from the Assist portal? So if your organization is running behind the proxy network, you can configure the proxy prior. So since you're accessing the devices in the unattended mode where there'll be no one present to enter the proxy details, so you can pre-configure the proxy within the settings so that you can directly connect to the machine, and the connection will get passed through your proxy server. So you just have to enable the proxy, and you'll be entering the host IP and the required port where your connection is passing through, and you can enter the username and the password credentials. So after entering all these details, you can click on save, and all the sessions that you initiating, that will be passed through your proxy server. So moving to the next slide, other key features. So apart from the in-session features, we have other few key features which you can make use of it in the unattended session. So starting with computer grouping and group permissions. So let's say that you have multiple computers in your account configured for unattended access, and you have technicians who will be managing devices of each and every departments. So to consolidate the devices and to provide the permission for the technicians, you can make use of the computer grouping feature that we have. So now I'll show you how the computer grouping works, and I'll show you how you can create a group within the Zoho Assist account. So let's go back to the portal assist.zoho.com, and under the assist.zoho.com you can find unattended access and groups. So here you can find the list of group which is already created. To create a new group, so you can create, click on the add group option and you can add the name. So let's say that I'm creating a group to add the devices that is part of the sales department. So I can name the group and click on the add devices option. So when you click on the add device option, all the devices that is added under your account will be listed. So you can choose the device that needs to be a part of the group, and then you can create the group. So this is how you can create groups, and you can consolidate the devices, and you can assign the users to the specific devices to have them access it in the unattended mode. So down below, we got power options and diagnostic tools. So in case, as a technician, in case if you wish to perform any power operations without even connecting to the remote machine, you can make use of the diagnostic tools that we have. So I'll show you where you can connect to the devices, where you can perform all these operations without connecting to the remote machines. So you can just click on the unattended access tab, and here you can find the tools icon. And under tools, we have few options which you'll be able to perform without even connecting to the remote machine. So you can click on, when you click on the power options, you can find shutdown, restart, or log out from the existing account. In case if you wish to log out, if you forgot to log out from the account, you can just simply log out it from here without connecting to the machine. And apart from this, you'll be able to perform hibernate, sleep the machine, or you can lock the remote machine. So all this can be accessed from the backend mode. And then we have tools, so you can directly access a command prompt of the remote machine without connecting to the machine. And similarly, you'll be able to perform and all the other operations, which is checking the services that is running in the remote machine, or checking out the printers or the hardware which is configured in the remote machine. So all this can be accessed or in the remote machine without connecting to it. So in case if you wish to connect to the machine, you can just click on the connect button. So this is how the diagnostic tools, the diagnostic feature works with Zoho Assist. So let's go back to the slides that we have. And down below, so we got an option, prevent from uninstalling. So you got an idea that in order to add the device for unattended access, in order to set up the device for unattended access, you need to install the agent on the target machine. So we have so in case, as an administrator, in case if you wish to restrict the end user to delete the agent from the control panel, you can enable the option within the settings. So I'll show you where you can enable the option. So you can go to the settings and preferences. So under preferences, here you can find an option which is called uninstalling. Prevent the customer from uninstalling the unattended access application from the control panel. So once the option is enabled, the end user will not, the user in which the device is configured will not have the option to delete the unattended agent from the control panel. Deleting the option will be hidden for the end user. So similarly, you'll be able to prevent the end user to stop the services from the task manager. So all this can be enabled under the unattended access preferences settings. So at the right, we have another option, which is auto lock the remote computer. So since you're accessing the devices in an unattended mode, so it would be nice that we have the option which will automatically lock the remote computer once the end of every session. So where you may not, in case if you imagine that in case if you forgot to lock the machine, unattended machine, where anyone who is around the machine may have access to it. So this is one of the sensitive things. So for that, we have auto locking the remote computer feature. So this can be enabled under the preferences settings. You can go to the settings and preferences, and you under security, since this is one of the security feature, it is listed under here. So you can enable this option once the auto locking the remote computer option is enabled. So right after the each and every unattended session, the remote computer will be automatically locked. So moving to the next option, idle session timeout. So as a technician, you might take multiple sessions simultaneously. So what if you forgot to end the session? So for that, we have idle session timeout feature, so which can be enabled under the security settings. So once if there is any inactivity after the, you can set up the timeout under the security settings. After the period that you mentioned here, if the session is idle, the session will be automatically terminated. And this is how you can make use of the idle session timer feature in the unattended access session. So moving to the next feature we have is a technician info box. So as an administrator, in case if you wish to provide a disclaimer to the technicians in your account before they could access the unattended computers, in case if you wish to publish a disclaimer to the technicians, you can create the disclaimer under the technician info box. You just have to enable the technician info box, and you can customize the message here. So what are the message that you return here, so will be displayed to the technicians before they could access the unattended devices. So you can click on the preview. So this is what the technician could see before accessing the end user machine. So they can click on the done, and then they can proceed to access the machine. So unattended access on the go. So right now we saw how as a technician, how you can start the session from browsers, and with Zoho Assist we also have the applications for both Android as well as iOS, which the technicians can make use of it to access to the unattended devices in their account. So let's say that you have the device, you have your office computer configured for unattended access, and you're working from home and you wanted to access the device to pull up a report or a important file. So you can just simply log into the Zoho Assist in your mobile application, and then you can connect to the office machine. So similarly, you'll be able to you'll be able to take remote sessions, as well as you can connect to the unattended devices from your mobile application. So this is what you could see. So you can download the application from the Google Play Store or the App Store. Once the application is downloaded, you can log into your Zoho Assist account in the mobile application with your username and the password credential. So after logged in, you can see the devices that is already registered in your account. You can just click on the play button to connect to the intended devices that you needed control. So this is how simple you can connect to the unattended devices from your mobile application. So the links for these applications will be shared in the Q&A session. So you can download the applications, and then you can test few sessions, and you can share your experience. So moving to the next option, which is set up and manage. So we have provided few options for the administrators or the super admin of the account to create a workflow or to manage the users in the account more efficiently. So starting with manage technicians and custom roles. So as a administrator of the account, you'll be able to manage all the users, starting from inviting a user or removing a user. All this can be done within the single option, so which is the manage technician. So now I'll show you how you can invite a technician to the account with the help of the uh, invite technician option that we have. So as soon as you click on the manage technician, you can find the users that is already a part of your account, the technicians that is already a part of the account. To invite a new technician, you can click on the invite technician, and then you can enter the email address and the role that the user needs to be a part of, and then you can choose the device groups or the departments the user need access, and then you can click on the invite option. So this is how you can invite the users to your account. And to delete a user, you just have to click on the user, and then you can click on the delete icon to remove the user from your account. So then we have roles. So we have provided a default role, which is the super administrator, who will have all access to the account, including the subscription or the two-factor authentication, and then the administrator and technician. So these are the few default roles that we have provided. So in case if you wish to create the new role or the custom role, and being an administrator, in case if you wanted your technicians, they should not have the option to initiate file transfer. So you can create a role without a file transfer permission. So you can, this is how you can create a role within the console, and you can uncheck the file transfer option allow, and then you can invite the users to your account. So this is how you can create the custom role of your choice. So once a role is created, you can go back to the users, and then you can click on the invite technician, and you can choose the respective role that you have created, and then you can invite the users to your account. So all the users that is invited to your account with this role will not have the file transfer feature access in the unattended session. So this is how you can create a role-based restriction for the users in your account. So moving to the next option, we have this multiple departments. So if your in your organization, if you have multiple departments like sales, marketing, support, or accounting department, and you have the technicians categorized for each and every department, so you can make use of the department feature that is available in the Zoho Assist. So to create a new department, you just have to click on the department icon. And once you click on the option, you can find the departments that is already created in the account. To create a new department, just have to click on the add department. So let's say that I'm adding a users for sales department. So you can name the department, and you can choose the administrator that needs to be a admin of that particular department, and you can choose the users that needs to be a part of the department. So this is how you can configure the departments in your account, and then you can add the technicians with the department. So moving to the next option, reports or session audit logs. So all the session prints, starting with the screenshots that you take or the session recording, all will be available under the reports, and you also be able to generate the audit report for the auditing purpose. So I'll show you what else we have under the reports option. So let's go back to the console, assist.zoho.com, and you can click on the reports option. So here you'll be able to generate a report based on the technician or the session count or the duration, and you also be able to generate a reports based on the geographical insights. And to create a custom report, you just have to click on the custom report option, and here you can find the start time of the session and end time of the session, and the session ID and the chart transcript or the session recording, and the IP address and the technician name. So all these details will be listed under here. To generate the audit report, you just have to click on the session audit report. So as an administrator, for auditing purpose, you don't have to play the entire recording. You can just simply check out the event logs to check if the technician has initiated a file transfer or if they have enabled the blanket screen. So all the operation which is carried by the the technician in the remote session will be printed under the event logs. So this is how you can make use of the feature to generate the reports. And also we have the option which you can schedule a report. To schedule a new report, you just have to click on the new scheduler, and based on the preference you can generate the reports as weekly, daily or monthly basis. And this is how you can create schedules for the reports that you have. And yes, moving to the next slide. And so down below we got rebranding and custom domain. So with Zoho Assist, you will be able to rebrand certain information. So now we will see what are the options that is given for the rebranding. So you can just go to the rebranding and organization. So you'll be able to update the organization name, the primary email address and the phone number, or the logo and fave icon. So all this information can be rebranded, and also you'll be able to rebrand the portal URL. So all this can be rebranded from here. So in case if you're in your company, in case if you're having your own domain, you can set up the custom domain where you'll be adding the CNAME records and submitting for the SSL certificate installation. So once the certificate is being installed, you as well as your end users will be able to use your domain incorporated portal URL to start the session or to join the on-demand session. So this is how you can make use of the custom domain feature that we have. So moving to the next option, which is customizing email templates and email domain. Yes, we have a default template for each and every scenarios, starting with inviting a user for a session or sharing the session invite. So for all the scenarios, we have the default template. So in case if you wish to customize or create a own template for your departments or for your company, you can create a new template from here. So this is how you can create multiple new templates for each and every scenarios under the email templates that we have. So then we got email configuration. So by default, all the emails will be sent from notifications@zohoassist.com. So if you're having your own domain email, you can register it here and you can submit the domain verification. So after completion of the domain verification, you can add your domain email address or your technician email address for the from or the reply to email address in your account. So as an admin, in case if you wish to receive all the emails, you can add your email under the CC so that you'll be getting a copy of all the emails that is sent between the account. And yes, this is how the email configuration works. And moving to the next option, which is the final option that we have, is the security and compliance. Since Zoho Assist is a sensitive software, so we have few security and compliance settings which can be configured, and starting with privacy settings and starting with user concern. So as an administrator, there is always a user concern that you need to provide before permitting access to any third-party applications while integrating or while importing the contacts. And then we got data protection. So data protection policies can be configured, which is session confirmation for unattended access and role-based restriction, which we already discussed, and the confirmation prompt. So since all this options, operations or sensitive to do, you can set up the concern prompt, like for the remote print or blanketing screen or a remote script. So you can set up a concern prompt as an administrator. So only when the end user has accepted the concern prompt, your technicians will be able to perform any of the options listed here. So then we have breach notification. If any piece of information is compromised, the super administrator will get notified within the 72 hours, then right to erasure. So you'll be able to anonymize or delete the data of your customer email address or the IP address of the technician and the customer. All this can be removed from the cloud from here. And retention period, so you'll be able to set up the retention period for the action log viewer as well as report. So now we will see what is the action log viewer is all about. And here you can find a report which shows what are the actions or the changes that is done by the users in your account under the preferences. So all this will be printed under the action log viewer. And down below, we got the multi-factor authentication. The super administrator can set up the multi-factor authentication for the technicians as an additional layer security to access the account. And then we have the IP-based restriction. This is one of the essential feature. So as an administrator, in case if you wish to restrict your technicians to have access to the account outside your office network, you can add the IP range under the IP restriction, so that beyond the range that you have added here, the users will not have access to the Zoho Assist account. So this is how the IP restrictions would work. And finally, we got data cleanup. So you can enable the data cleanup to remove the reports or the action log viewer from the Zoho Assist organization account. So moving back to the slides that we have. Okay, so in the pipeline, so currently we have a dedicated deployment link for the departments. So we have specific links for the department. So right now our development team is working to create dedicated links for groups, so that let's say that if you create 10 or 15 groups, you can generate a dedicated link for each and every group, so that devices so that the link, you can make use of the link to add the devices to that particular group. And apart from the feature update, we are committed to work on the server update, which includes newer protocols to enhance the session performance and to provide a seamless session experience for our customers. So questions, I did mention that I'll be discussing few questions which is raised in today's Q&A session. Our team has compiled few questions in the slide. So the question number 1, which Android unattended devices can I control using the Zoho Assist? Yes, with Zoho Assist, you will be able to control Android devices which is running above 7.0 and above. And you can, to control the devices, you can download the universal add-on on the remote machine, so remote mobile device. So once the universal add-on is downloaded, as a technician, you will be able to control the mobile devices. And then question number 2, how can I rename, delete, and move the unattended computers? Yes, you will be able to rename the device or delete the device from the account from the manage devices option. Now I'll show you where you can rename or perform any of this operation. So you can just go to the unattended access column and deployment. Under deployment, we have manage devices. So here you can find all the devices that is added in the account. To rename the device, you just have to click on the pencil icon, and you can rename the device from here. Apart from this, to delete or move the device to a different group, you can make use of the option that we have. To delete a device, you just have to click on the delete icon to delete the device completely from your account. So next question, and yes. Okay, so these are, how can I filter my devices based on the OS and availability? Yes, I'll show you the filter options that is we have within the account. You can go to the manage devices. You can make use of the filters. You'll be able to filter out the devices based on the device type, which is either a mobile device or the computers, or you can filter out based on the live status or the deployment status of the particular device, or you also be able to filter the devices based on the operating system that is running on the machine. So these are the few filter options that is given in the Zoho Assist to easily access the devices. Especially if you're accessing multiple thousands of devices, you can make use of the filters to access them easily. And yes, moving back to the slide. And yes, with that said, I have concluded this training. And if you've enjoyed the training, if you found it to be informative, you can spread the word, hashtag Zoho Assist.